Welcome to Dream by Design with Melissa Banks, where women share their dreams, struggles and successes, how they were able to persevere despite the fear and create the life they want and deserve. If you're looking for inspiration to move you past where you normally would stop, then this is the show for you. Here's your host, Melissa Banks.
Welcome to Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. I'm excited you could be with us today. I'm your host, Melissa Banks. Today, we're continuing our special series, Women Who Shine. And these amazing women will share with us how they are able to keep shining despite the circumstance. I'm excited about today's interview because we get to talk someone behind the whole inspiration of the series, Deborah Hunter. Deborah is an author, a chef, an artist, a motivational speaker. I'm just super excited to talk to you, Deborah, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for having me again. Thank you.
Okay, Deborah, I just want to begin at the beginning. I want us to talk about Women Who Shine and the inspiration that you had to just make that post where you honored these women and, as you say, give them their flowers while they can smell them. Just talk to our audience about that morning and why you decided that was the day you need to honor these women.
Well, Melissa, I am completely fascinated with human beings, period, but especially women and women who get up every morning and freely give of their time and energy and their positivity in the world. We hear a lot of negative stuff, but there are so many beautiful women who are doing incredible things every day. And on that particular morning, I just decided to say out loud, it's something that my grandmother would always say to me. She would always say, give me my flowers while I live. And so many times, people don't really know how you feel about them. The world has convinced us that it's okay to tell people that we don't like them and we don't care for them. But to find a space where we can say out loud to somebody, I love you for no reason, I truly appreciate you, who you are, for me, that's a very important way to live. And so that was just part of me saying thank you to women like yourself and sending out love and kindness into the universe.
Well, it was so refreshing to see. Oftentimes, we as women, we may have inspiration from other women. We may be excited about what they're doing. It may impact our lives, but normally, we sit back and we don't really ever tell them. And we definitely don't tell them publicly. So that was such a joy. And I said to somebody, it just changed my whole life, my whole day when I was going through the pictures of each woman. And then I came across my picture, and it was such a great feeling, a surprise, but such a great feeling to be included in that. And that says a lot about you, Deborah, that you wanted to shine the light on other women, and you wanted their light to shine. You weren't trying to shine your own light, and that just says so much about you and your thought processes and how you feel. I did want to ask you, Deborah, I saw something that you wrote on your page, and you said, when it comes to being a woman, beauty is defined by and is an expression of the soul. Talk to us about that.
Well, I think one of the things that we have allowed the world to negotiate for us too often is the ability to be feminine. And Melissa, for me, it was hearing God ask me a question, and it was such a power that it made me extremely comfortable with my feminine energy. And it was when he asked me, what did I create after I created the woman? And the answer is nothing, Melissa. And as an artist, as a writer, as a chef, as a human being, I know that when a project is done, when something is finished, there's nothing else to come. That means that it is complete, and the system of life is completed with God saying, the creation of woman was his final act in this realm of humanity that we know it. And so, to stay in touch with that in your soul and to stay in a peaceful place and to be mindful of how even you use your words. You know, women have so much power that we just give away. You know, we let somebody else tell us how we should dress. We let somebody else tell us how we should act. You know, there's $1 billion industry that's been created on women acting bad because somebody else says that's what we have to do. And so for me, it's really staying connected to my own soul and making a personal choice to define who I am outside of somebody else's ideas or opinions.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, Deborah, we were so inspired by your post because so often, and most people, well, not most people, but some people look at women and say women don't support each other, women don't lift each other up, women don't shine the light on other women, and you absolutely did that. So we were so inspired with that. That's what inspired this entire series. So we're excited to bring each one of those ladies that you talked to light so that people could see, you know what, women do stand up for each other. And the better we stand up, the more we stand up for each other, the further we all get. And I think that's so amazing. And something that you said was the more we celebrate others, the sweeter life gets. And that is so true and important. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you, Deborah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was about to say absolutely, Melissa, and actually celebrating each other shouldn't be commonplace. It really shouldn't be a surprise. It should be something that we daily do. You know, it's that whole idea of sisterhood and camaraderie that should happen without there being a cause. It should just be your nature. A lot of times, you know, we'll fight for each other when there's, you know, it's the Me Too movement or, you know, the idea of what liberation is supposed to look like. But the reality is, Melissa, I ought to respect, love, and honor you just because. It really should be like wearing my own skin. When I look at you, I should be able to see myself because I'm actually looking at the image of God. I'm looking at what he thought, how he was feeling. So how dare I dishonor that?
Oh, wow, Deborah, that's great right there. That's a big statement you just made. That is amazing. We're thankful for you and for feeling like that. And I think a lot more women feel like that than we recognize. So I'm excited. That's another reason to be so excited about the series. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that's going on with you. So let's talk about what's happening right now. Like right now, we're kind of in the moment. Within a week, you've had quite a few announcements and celebrations in your literary world. Tell us about that journey and how that came about and how you feel about it.
Well, you know, Melissa, I'm just absolutely in awe. The older I get, the more that I discover the gifts that God has hidden in me, and I'm making peace with those gifts. And I've been determined to live full and to die empty. And with that being said, for me, it means that everything that God has placed in us, it is our job to leave it here in the earth. It's, you know, in order for him to say, well done, good and faithful servant, it's not just enough to go home. But when he opens us up, because he calls us earthen vessels, what will he find? Will he find that book that, you know, he told you to write? Will he find that love that he told you to give away? Will he find that kindness? Everything that God puts in us, Melissa, our responsibility and how we dominate in the earth is simply by pouring out what God has given us. And that's one of the missions of my life, is to live full and to die empty.
Wow, that's great, Deborah. Now, you have some children's books that are coming out that have just recently been released. So you had 3 books that were released over the last week, I believe. So tell us about that and how you decided children's books was what you wanted to do, and how did the journey go from the thought to the idea to actually releasing those books?
Well, I think all of us are storytellers, you know, and for me, one of the things that I wanted to do, God has blessed me with 4 incredible grandchildren. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. They range from 14 to 17 months old. And I wanted to be able to gift them my ideas and my thoughts. And what better way to do that than to write little stories. And those stories turned into adorable little books that we are now sharing with the world, Melissa, and I'm really proud of that. But beyond just the children's books, over the next several months, you guys will get to see some surprising literary works that I didn't even know that I possessed. And I've been able to partner with the incredible Cyrus Webb, not only is he a motivator, but he's also an excellent editor. And so he has partnered with me in these projects, and I'm really excited just to pour them out. And I pray that, people will feel the love and the kindness, whether you're reading a children's book or something motivational that God has given me.
Wow. Well, congratulations to you on all of that success, and we look forward to the other books that are coming out. I'm just amazed at the artwork. I look at the covers, and they excite me. Even the children's books excite me because you're so creative and talented in your art world. What is that like to be able to put it into illustrations, to sit down and have that skill? Not a lot of us have that skill.
For me, Melissa, I think it is. I have perhaps one of the best ways to describe myself is I am truly childlike and very adventurous, and I'm not afraid to sit down and take a piece of paper or a canvas and create something or to write something or even to cook something. Creativity, I think, is the nature of God. And so for me, it's just kind of playing with God's toys and having a lot of fun, and I'm grateful that my brain works that way. Other hand, Melissa, one of the reasons why these books are so important for me, and this is something that I've shared with Cyrus, I struggled as a young adult and even now with a learning disability, and it's something that a lot of people don't know about me, and I literally figured out how to build a system around that. Well, in that, part of the struggle was reading. There is an issue with dyslexia that I am overcoming, and it is a process because the brain is really funny. And so with that, being able to sit down and take those thoughts and talking about becoming an overcomer, overcoming whatever the challenge that you have in life, even for me with writing. It is a challenge, but it's something, Melissa, that I'm determined to do. I refuse to be defeated in the presence of a God who has already declared victory over my life.
Wow, Deborah, that just goes to show when people say, well, I didn't come from a world of writers, and I didn't come from a world of educators. I have this struggle with reading. I can't do, but instead of I can't, you took something that you couldn't do and said, I can, because my destiny is with God, and He is going to give me every single thing I need. Hence, everything that you've done and all the success that you're having and will have with your books. So I say kudos to you. I can remember, Deborah, talking to you at the beginning of 2020. I don't even know if you remember this, but we talked briefly, and that time it was all about your cooking and being the amazing chef that you are. But since that point, that was early 2020, here we are in 2021, and so many different, you've had so much success and so many different things have changed since that conversation. What does that feel like, that journey over the last year and dealing with the pandemic and all the challenges that have been there? But you've had so much success during that period. So what has that been like?
Well, chefing is definitely part of my life, Melissa. That has not changed. I'm still doing that. It's just that one of the things that I've learned is that there are 24 hours in the day, and we really do have the capabilities, if we have the desire, to do just a little bit more. The world will tell us that we can't have it all, but God said that He came so that we could have life and that more abundantly. And the only limits on that life and more abundantly is how we think. And one of my biggest quests in life is to conquer my mind, to really know what it means to have the mind of Christ. And a lot of times we just stop there with a religious idea, and we think of sanctification only tied to the church. But God is interested in our entire beingness, everything that we are. And, and learning to think bigger than the space that I'm in. And so it doesn't matter that I live here in Mississippi. The world is available now. God has put it at our fingertips via the web and the internet. And there are just so many things that we can do, but we have to just be willing to take that little mustard seed of faith because, Melissa, I don't have a college degree. I don't have some of the other accolades that people look for when you're doing things. What I do have is me. And I have God, and I have the God that resides in me. I'm hidden in him. And how could I not, Melissa, give this life everything that I have and then call myself his daughter? You know, we really are ambassadors in the earth. And so it's our job as believers to step up, to give love everything we have, to give peace everything we have, to give our creativity everything that we have.
Oh, wow, that's awesome, Deborah. Deborah, one of the things that I noticed about you is your social media, your Facebook page specifically. And as I was scrolling through your page, it's full of positivity. It encourages us all to seek and live our best lives. Why is that important to you? And do you feel that a social media presence is important to represent who you are? Just how do you feel? How important do you feel a social media presence is, and that it represents who you really are?
Well, Melissa, what you get on social media is the authentic me. So whether you see me on Facebook or Instagram, or if you meet me in real life, I am who I am. And so me sharing love and kindness, you know, I heard a friend of mine say, there is enough negativity on the stage. The world is hungry for positivity. So there's plenty of room for us to get up every day and share love and kindness. And people are really hungry for that. The Bible even says that the world is hungry for the living bread. And positivity, kindness, hope, peace, joy, that's living bread, Melissa. And people want that. Our souls need that. Our human beingness needs that. And so for me, I wanted to leave my daughter that legacy and my grandchildren that legacy, because words are powerful. And Melissa, words never die. And it's really funny because as I've gotten older, I realize that. So whatever I say about myself today, at some point in the future, I'm going to meet that word. And so it's important that I get up every day and speak words of kindness. And it's that whole thing about karma. If I'm going to have to deal with karma, I want her to pay me a good paycheck full of love and kindness. And so I try to give that away as much as possible.
I agree with you. And I agree that social media is important because it sometimes and oftentimes, because we are worldwide, right? People know you from all parts of the world that you don't even know. So how you represent yourself on social media, whether it's in your business or personally, and to me, that's all one thing. It's definitely important because that's what people see. And when they meet you, to see you, that you're the same person, and it's just so positive and it's uplifting. And energy, the level of energy, because that means a lot to me, for someone to have energy. And even going through a social media page, it can tell you so much about the energy of that person who owns that page, and you can feel that as you scroll through your page, and I think that's absolutely amazing. So, Deborah, as a female entrepreneur, do you feel like you have some challenges simply because you're a female entrepreneur? And if so, how have you been able to overcome them?
Well, you know, we live in a world from the beginning of time where women have faced many challenges culturally, socially, economically, educationally. All these things have an impact on how we proceed in the world. And again, that's another reason why we as women should just naturally be kind to one another, because all of us are facing some kinds of challenge, Melissa. And one of the things that I have to do for myself is I have to stay rooted and grounded in prayer, and I have to spend that time in relationship with the Father to find my strength, because, of course, there are just natural forces that are coming against you. And for me, you know, as a woman who is past 25, there are a lot of things physically that I'm challenged with, you know, and so then it's learning to maintain my mind, because all of those things have an effect on who I am as an entrepreneur in the world, and staying in touch with technology and educating myself on the environments that I'm entering into. All that becomes very important. And so for me, it's daily being, as Cyrus Well would say, to be teachable. and to let my guards down. I don't know everything. And so I want to be in the presence of women such as yourself, Melissa, so that I can learn something, because there are things that you know that I don't know. There are people that you have access to that I don't. And love and kindness is a great way to make those connects. It helps to build bridges of trust and honor. So it's very important, as an entrepreneur for me to stay on top of myself first and foremost, but to be broad in the way that I think about everything.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Deborah, our listeners are around the world, and they're listening to this conversation right now. So what advice or tips would you give to another woman that's listening right now? She's struggling with moving forward. What advice would you give her?
Oh, Melissa, that's so easy. To love yourself deeply, passionately, and unconditionally. Love is the source, Melissa, of success. The more you love yourself, the more you stand in that. And I don't mean just, the outer pretty, because we're real good at that. I mean, but love everything about who you are. Everything about who you are. The more you do that, the more the flow is there. The more you look and sound like the daughter of God, the more you attract to you those things that you desire.
Wow, that is good. Deborah, you said, I saw somewhere that you said that you dare to dream out loud. What does that mean, to dream out loud?
Just that, not to keep it a secret. I know a lot of times we say, well, don't tell everybody everything. Well, of course, Melissa, there's some things that, you need to hold close to your vest until you get there. Mm-hmm. But there are as many people that are willing to support you as there are people that don't. And then, it's encouraging to other people when they can see you step out on faith. We've got to get rid of that critical mindset that, everybody's working against me and people don't like me, and you have to overcome that. And part of doing that is, if I say I'm going to write a book, then I want to share that. I want to because what it does too, Melissa, is it keeps me accountable when somebody else knows what the dream is. Now I do know you have to be careful. We're not talking about not walking in wisdom, but we're also talking about not walking in fear. Dreaming out loud is a beautiful thing. It is. It's freeing and it's liberating. And then if we truly believe that God is our covering, Melissa, the scripture says, if God be for me, then who or what can be against me? And so even with those things that seem hard and difficult, I think about the story of Joseph. He got in trouble because he shared his dream, or at least we thought he got in trouble because he shared his dream out loud. But it was part of God's master plan to take him from level 0 to the second in command in the kingdom. And so sometimes even when we share things with people and they didn't keep it, and it feels like they've betrayed you, you have to remember it's all a part of God's plan. Our job is to stay in his will, to be the best that we can be all day, Melissa, and to enjoy the freedom, and not allow anything, especially, our age, the place that we live, don't allow anything, or even our education or disabilities, keep us from being the best that God has called us to be.
Wow, Deborah, that's so amazing. And this has been an amazing conversation with you. It is easy for us to see why you had the heart and soul and spirit to highlight these women who shine. So we're excited and so grateful for you and for your heart. But before we let you go, what's next for you? You kind of mentioned briefly some things that are coming behind the children's book, but is there anything that's next for you that you can share with us?
Well, Melissa, like I said, there are some other literary works of art that's coming that I'm really excited about. There's one book in particular that I'm really excited for our readers to get their hands on, and it's entitled, Lord, Give Me My Life Back. And it's based on the scripture in Joel, the 2nd chapter, when God clearly says to us that he will give us back the years. So I'm really excited, Melissa.
Well, congratulations, and we're excited for you. So let our audience know how they can stay connected with you and be able to follow you.
Well, I'm on social media. I'm all over social media, Melissa. They can send me a personal friend request because I love people at Deborah Hunter, and you'll see the cookbook that says My Delicious Mississippi Life. You can also find me at Cooking with Honey and Friends, the Deborah Hunter Collection, author Deborah Hunter, and the cookie lady, Melissa. So there's a lot going on in my life.
Well, that is wonderful, and thank you for sharing your light with us and just inspiring all women that will hear this and read your posts and follow you will be inspired to let their light shine. So I want to just thank you for being here today and sharing your story and inspiring such a wonderful series, Women Who Shine. I want to say also thank you to our audience for tuning in to today's edition of Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. I'm your host, Melissa Banks. To stay connected with us, just visit us at themelissabanks.com. Remember, all your dreams are possible. Believe in yourself. Work hard and don't quit. Until next time, thank you for choosing Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. Enjoy your day.